Hi, Amber and everyone. Just checking in to make sure everybody's connected here. Is this just the organizing team online so far? I think you're on mute. Sorry, Amber.
I am sorry. I just put my headphones in. What did you just say?
Oh, I was just asking if it was just the organizing team that's online right now.
Um,
I
I
see
think
Leah Moss,
there's,
Stritum Soho.
yeah, I think there's some attendees in which I thought the waiting room was set up, but maybe it's not.
That's okay. Great. I just wanted to see
Yeah,
if everybody, oh, Christopher's here. Okay, great. So we have a couple people who are here early. Perfect.
yeah.
Well, looking forward to it, and we'll be ready on our side whenever you're ready to get started. Just let us know.
Okay, great. Um, yeah, did you want to check if you could share your screen on here?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just test real quick. 1 second. Mostly I wanted to just test the video real quick for everyone, so I will get that set up real quick. This is like the screen, it looks like it's okay. And I'll just go down to the video real quick. And for those of you who are already online, you're getting a bit of a preview, so
Hmm.
please enjoy while we do this quick test. Can you hear the sound? No. Not yet. Okay, just wanted to check the sound. I think I need to set up the sound already. Amber, you didn't hear the sound there, right? Is that right?
I think I heard a little bit, but I couldn't make it out.
But can you tell me if you can hear the sound real quick? Sorry. Yeah.
No. Oh, there it is.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
there it is.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Um, let's get started then. Okay. Let's see how many people. Okay, 9 have joined so far. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So today's webinar topic is on the Peace Boat US program, which is very exciting. And we have Emily, our speaker here, that's going to be presenting about that. So I just want to briefly introduce the Peace Boat US program. Peace Boat US is part of a global initiative that combines experimental learning, cross-cultural exchange, and advocacy, bringing people together through programs focused on ocean conservation, climate action, and sustainable development. Their work is closely aligned with the UN Ocean Decade, particularly in advancing ocean literacy, capacity building, and global collaboration among early career professionals like all of us here. So for the ECOPs, it's a really unique opportunity to engage internationally, build networks, and turn knowledge into action. So with that, I will let Emily take it from here and introduce herself and talk more about this exciting program.
Great. Thank you so much, Amber. And hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. My name is Emilie McGlone, and as Amber mentioned, I'm working as the director of Peace Boat US, an international organization that travels the world promoting peace and sustainable development on board our ship. So I'm really excited to have many of you here today. And thank you again for the ECOP program for hosting us as Peace Boat US to share a little bit more about our work. So I would like to start with sharing some slides here so you all can see our ship and a little bit more about our programs that we are organizing throughout the year. Peaceboat is an international NGO, as I mentioned, working to sail the world on this vessel. This is the MV Pacific World. It's a ship that holds 2,000 people as we're traveling to more than 20 different countries on every single voyage and about 100 ports throughout the year. So we have three global voyages on every year, and basically each voyage visits around 20 ports. So we are really excited to share with you a bit more about our programs, especially for the United Nations Ocean Decade. We know many of you are working in ocean conservation and activities around so many important issues, and so we hope that our ship can also be a platform for bringing together early career ocean professionals with government partners, with civil society, and youth around the world. So, as we are traveling, we are working with NGOs and communities in each of these ports, whether it be in the south of Patagonia, in Chile and Argentina, or the north all the way up to Svalbard in Norway. We are visiting so many different regions of the world and lots of different ecosystems along the way as we travel on the ocean. So, Peaceboat really believes in socially and environmentally responsible tourism, and that tourism in itself can be a positive force for political change and for creating partnerships across borders and also creating friendships for peace and sustainability. Peaceboat is really focused on the person to person connection as we are traveling on board. And we started this organization at Peaceboat in 1983. It was founded in Japan. So we've been sailing the world for more than 43 years, promoting peace and sustainable development. Since 2017, we also sail with the Nobel Peace Prize on board as part of ICAN, which is the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. So Peaceboat is not only promoting peace and sustainability through our programs for ocean and climate action, but also connecting the impact of nuclear weapons on environment and the humanitarian impact on people. With Peaceboat, we've also taken more than 100 global voyages. We're actually going to be entering our 123rd global voyage, leaving this year. So that's very exciting. And we've had more than 80,000 participants on board. And we are also an NGO in special consultative status with the United Nations. So we're going to be talking a lot about our programs with the UN today and our work for the UN Sustainable Development Goals. On board the ship, as we are sailing with 2,000 people on board, we have various conference rooms and lecture halls that we use for education on board. So this is an example of Christiana Figueres, who came on board. Many of you might know her for her work for the Paris Agreement and work at COP and climate change conferences. She's also the founder of Outrage Optimism, an amazing podcast. So I really encourage you all to listen to that if you have a chance. Christiana was a great partner of Peaceboats during our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador program on board the ship. And we have guest speakers from all around the world coming and sharing important topics. For example, this was Binka Libreton. She's from Brazil, and she is sharing about the BBNJ Treaty, which is something we're going to talk a lot about today, to protect marine biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction in the high seas. And Binka has an amazing project with the rainforests in Brazil and was sharing a lot about her work in coastal communities. We also take a lot of action, so we're not only learning on the ship from guest speakers giving lectures and workshops, but we're also taking action in the ports. This could be beach cleanups, it could be planting trees or mangroves, or exchange through sports. We have so many different programs for climate action in every country that we visit. And we really believe also at the grassroots level of building those connections. I mentioned the people to people network of exchange programs where we learn about different cultures and also are able to make friends across borders so that we can really care for each other as one global community. Peaceboat is also sailing with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals logo on the hull of the ship. This is our symbol that we are sailing for the SDGs as an official campaigner and that we are raising awareness wherever we go for sustainable development. Peaceboat also has an office in the United Nations Plaza, so we're going to be talking about that as well today. As I mentioned, we hold special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the UN, so ECOSOC. This is an important status for NGOs who want to work in alignment with the UN at the international level. So we have also started an internship program, which we'll have one of our interns also joining us today. We have a couple of them online now, tuning into this program. And we are really dedicated to building the connection between civil society and the United Nations. So all of our interns get a pass to the UN and they can come work at our office. So we have an office in the United Nations Plaza shared with other organizations as well. And our interns are able to attend all of the UN related programming from UNGA, which is the General Assembly, to the United Nations World Oceans Day. There's also the High Level Political Forum coming up in July. Lots of events each year where interns are able to go and learn about the SDGs firsthand at the UN headquarters. We're also able to participate in all kinds of conferences and international events. So by bringing in our young leaders, they're able to listen to government representatives directly from different countries and also look at policy and how that's being implemented. We have many roundtable discussions, and as well, we're inviting our youth leaders to also present and speak at these events. So always getting a seat at the table, but also participating in these conferences and sharing their views. This is the SDG Media Zone as well, so learning about the SDGs from a perspective at the UN headquarters, and then presenting, as I mentioned, at some of these international forums. So really sharing our work and inviting young leaders to be part of the conversation is a big part of Peace Boat's activities. And every summer we have so many interns joining us. This past summer we had youth from Harvard University, from Tufts University, and others coming with us and participating in all of the forums over the summer. So this is going to be a similar summer this year. We'll be opening up our internship program to those who would like to be in New York City, and we also have an online internship program as well. So Peace Boat's work with the UN goes back many years. Peace Boat also is the global secretariat for the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict. So looking at how we can also create peace across the ocean by preventing conflict before it begins. As we can see today, once conflicts start, they're very difficult to stop. So it's really important that we prevent those conflicts from starting in the first place. So peace building takes place on many levels, and one of those is educating about small island developing states and also many of the countries that we visit and coastal communities have a lot of information to share about the impacts of climate change. So we've been bringing together young voices for our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador program. This is specifically focused on youth from SIDS who come on board and join us on the ship and share their testimonies and stories about things that are happening in their home countries. We're also working on creating a network of youth advocating for the SDGs. So, in addition to our youth program from Youth from SIDS, we also have the Youth for the SDGs Scholarship Program, which I was really excited to promote a lot with the ECOPs youth this year, that we are inviting young leaders ages 18 to 30 to apply for the scholarship. This summer, we're going to be going to Panama, Guatemala, and Mexico. But this program in general is focusing on so many different issues around the SDGs, and in particular, life below water, because we are an ocean-faring organization, always on the sea. It's really important that we learn about these fragile ecosystems below water. And that's why ECOPs are so important, because we need more early career ocean professionals. We also want to encourage more youth leaders in ocean science. And so we have here a few images of our experience in Svalbard. We were learning about the water testing that we're doing in each of the ports. We're testing for dissolved oxygen, pH level, turbidity, and temperature in many of the ports. And then we also have hands-on learning programs like this sea algae and seaweed program that we were doing in Svalbard in the Arctic. And all of our youth leaders get an opportunity to present on board. So, especially for early career ocean professionals, you have so much to share. And it's really important that our youth leaders are able to get on stage and present about their work. So, this is from last summer. We have students also teaching each other by capacity building and training during our water testing and also during our programs that we're organizing on board. So in each of the ports, as I mentioned, we're collecting this data. This is together with Earth Echo International. And we often have, of course, some youth who might be marine biologists who are traveling on board, some who are working with government partners, and some who are learning for the first time. So it's a wide range of backgrounds and capacities. And the point is that we are doing this capacity building and training together, looking at ocean science, how to collect data, and also how to share that data. We're working with the Ocean Data Information System, ODIS, to share our data online from all the places that we visit. And we're also sharing this information with the communities that we work for. So this is in Mexico, for example, traveling through the mangroves, and we were planting mangroves and propagules. And then recently, this year, we kicked off January in 2026 with our Blue Innovation Reception for the BBNJ. As I mentioned, this has been a big topic for Peace Boat because we are sailing on the high seas. So the BBNJ agreement has just been coming into fruition on January 17th of this year to protect marine biodiversity, again, beyond national jurisdiction, which is the high seas between the countries. And Peace Boat, on our voyage this year, we went from Easter Island in Rapa Nui, which is part of Chile in the Pacific, over to Callao, which is in Peru. And then we went down to Valparaiso, Chile, and Punta Arenas in Patagonia. So for us, on January 17th, as we were traveling on the Peace Boat, we sailed across the high seas when the High Seas Treaty came into fruition. So we hosted a large event on the ship, of course, to celebrate. This was organized by our Youth for the SDGs alumni, Stephanie Torres, who runs Sustainable Ocean Alliance in Peru. And she's also an ocean leader, and she has been working with us as a youth alumni and now coming back as a guest speaker. So she organized, together with our staff on board, a large event where we celebrated the High Seas Treaty on January 17th as we crossed the high seas from Easter Island over to Peru. So we like to use our ship as an advocacy space, an educational space, and as a celebration space to push forward all the ideas and objectives of the United Nations and work in partnership with governments as well. So one of the things I wanted to share here is that Valparaiso, Chile, if you didn't already know, is applying to be the secretariat of the BBNJ. Valparaiso has been very dedicated to ocean conservation and just created this large ocean protected area between the Juan Fernandez Islands and working on protecting more areas throughout Chile. So they are very excited about this BBNJ treaty. And we started off with a program in Chile in January where we brought together young leaders for the ocean with artists. And we did an art mural tour throughout Valparaiso. We also organized a program where we brought youth closer to the ocean through sea kayaking. So we went out into the bay with lots of different organizations focused on youth education and youth empowerment for the ocean. And then we had a Blue Innovation Reception held on board the ship. So using the venue of our boat to bring together high-level partners. One of the speakers was from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs named Julio Cordano. And he is an incredible speaker. I would encourage you all to look up his work. And he now is elected the chair of the UN Plastic Pollution Treaty talks with all of our partners at the UN working towards ocean conservation. So it was really great to have him on board. And I think our ship can always be a vessel for communication and bringing these topics to light with governments, supporting local initiatives, but also bringing civil society to the table. We had about 200 people joining this conference. This is the inside of our boat. On the ship, we have various conference rooms, as I mentioned. This is our Vista Lounge, which holds around 250, 300 people. And here we hosted a panel on marine protected areas and the BBNJ, together with the mayor of Juan Fernandez in Chile and our youth leader, Jaco Gonzalez. She also runs Sustainable Ocean Alliance in Chile and has been an alumni of our program. And so our youth, once they come on board, they're not only coming on board once, usually they're coming back again and again when Peace Boat is visiting their home country, when we have high level events or any other programs where they can join us on board. We also had a program about the conservation in Patagonia. So every year, Peace Boat is visiting the glaciers in Patagonia and talking about the conservation efforts of the glaciers as well. This 2025 until March of 2026 has been the International Year of Glaciers Preservation with UNESCO, but it doesn't end here in 2026. Many of you might be seeing the UN Ocean Decade or United Nations Environment Program or others sharing a lot of information about the glaciers this week. We had World Water Day on March 22nd and the International Year of the Glacier, which is now marked on March 21st each year. They go hand in hand with water and glaciers. And of course, this is all related to our ocean. So as Peace Boat was traveling then from Valparaiso, Chile down to Patagonia, we organized a large event around the glaciers. And you can see these beautiful ecosystems, how they are growing. Sometimes they are also kind of retroceding back into the mountain, depending on the temperatures and depending on what is happening in each region. These are photos of the glaciers from above in Argentina and Chile. But we've seen a lot of calving of the glaciers. And of course, this increases sea level rise in other countries as well as the glaciers are melting. And we're seeing a lot of this happening right now because of climate change. So we're looking at how can we protect these glaciers and ecosystems and how can we reduce the impact of these areas as well. Another important topic for us has been the inclusion of women in maritime. So we're really advocating for young leaders to get involved in maritime, and that could be from working in the ports to working on ships to working in logistics. So we had some women join us in Punta Arenas when we were in Chile to talk about this issue on board. And we have our own UN Ocean Decade programs. As many of you might know, Peace Boat is traveling each year, and we are hosting these programs in different regions of the world. This year, as I announced, we'll be going to Panama, Guatemala, and Mexico. So this is very exciting coming up this summer for the UN Ocean Decade on board our 123rd global voyage. That means we've been around the world 123 times as Peace Boat. So you'll be very excited to know that this voyage has around 1,800 people already signed up, and we had over 250 applicants for this Youth for the SDG Scholarship Program. So what we're doing in this program is we're inviting young early career ocean professionals, young leaders looking at the SDGs, and anyone who wants to learn more about ocean conservation to come on board the ship for just a section of the voyage. So we will fly to Panama, spend about 3 or 4 days in Panama, and then sail on the ship through the Panama Canal to Guatemala and Mexico. And that will just be a section of this voyage. So we've been working a lot with youth leaders from all around the world to share their topics on board. And after coming on the ship for these programs for the Ocean Decade, we are then inviting our youth leaders to other conferences and other moments where they can also speak out about their work and share their experiences. So this is from the UN Climate Change Conference. As you might know, COP. Peaceboat US also has special observer status to COP. And so, as we're raising our voices and working together for this Ocean Decade, we don't want the programs only to stay on the Peace Boat, but really to travel with us to many different countries and to look at many different topics. For this Ocean Decade, we also have a major goal with Peace Boat, not only to educate about ocean science and how we can work on conservation together, but we are also very dedicated to the United Nations work towards decarbonization of maritime and reducing our CO2 overall, and working towards a renewable energy future with solar and wind power. So Peace Boat has started our EcoShip project. By the end of the Ocean Decade, our goal is to work towards this program to sail with a new ship that will have wind sails and solar panels on the roof and will reduce our CO2 by at least 30 or 40%. And eventually, we'll be working towards a zero emission cruise ship. So these are some of the sails and designs. We've been working with Oliver Design in Spain and many other partners around the world to look at green technology and how our ship can be an example for an inclusive and sustainable blue economy that reduces our CO2 on the ocean and therefore can really help promote ocean conservation through using our ship as a new venue. So this is what our solar sails will look like up close and reducing the CO2 by at least 40%, which means all of our lighting could be covered by the solar sails for the inside of the ship. We also hope to have a 6-story green space, which will have trees and flora and fauna from around the world that we can learn about from inside the ship. And we're really promoting a renewable energy future. So our goal is not only for Peace Boat to be the one example of a renewable energy ship, but we hope that we can open source share this technology with any other shipping companies and partners who would also like to reduce their footprint on the ocean. This is something that we hope will become a revolution for the generations to come to have more renewable energy ships. We're also looking at our voyages between large ocean states. So small island developing states have most of their territory as ocean. So they're called big ocean or large ocean states. And with that, Peace Boat's EcoShip hopes to sail between many island nations and to support the network of SIDS across the world. And with that, I would like to share with you all a very short 2-minute video about Peace Boat's work and our EcoShip project. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that short video about Peace Boat, and that was our introduction to the eco ship. So really, we know that at our organization, the time to act is now. We have just 5 years left until the end of the ocean decade, and just a few years left to achieve the SDGs. So we're working as quickly as possible to bring together civil society, government representatives, and of course, UN partners to achieve the SDGs. We really need literally all hands on deck. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. You also have my email there, and I'll put it in the chat at the end as well. And I wanted to share a little bit about now how you can all get involved. That was a brief introduction to Peace Boat's work, but now what are we doing for the rest of the year, and how can you be part of our programs? So one thing that we have coming up are programs at the UN throughout the year. Peace Boat, as I mentioned, is organizing all these activities on board the ship and in the ports of call, but we're also very active at the UN here in New York City and at UN conferences around the world. So if you are in New York or planning to come to any activities, you can also join us. We're planning many different high-level events. And because our office is located in the United Nations Plaza, we're also organizing various events in our conference rooms and during major events that are happening at least at the UN headquarters. We are hosting some side events also in our, let's say, neighborhood of the UN Plaza. So some of the high level events we have coming up this year in particular is June 8th to the 10th. We invite you all to join us for the United Nations World Oceans Day events. Will be taking place at the UN headquarters with a special reception. And then also we'll be hosting the Ocean Gala on board the Peace Boat. So our ship will be docked in New York. We'll be hosting a large event on the ship to promote ocean conservation during the week of the World Oceans Day. That'll be in New York. And we also encourage people to organize their own events for World Oceans Day in your home community. So you don't have to be in New York City to participate. You can organize a beach cleanup. You can activate your community for World Oceans Day by doing a film screening or any kind of activity wherever you live. So let's think about if you haven't started planning for World Oceans Day, what can you organize in your home community this year? Then in July, we have the United Nations High Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, known as the UN HLPF. This event takes place every July at the UN headquarters to review all of the nationally determined contributions and voluntary commitments from countries towards the SDGs. How are they doing on their targets to achieve the SDGs by 2030? We'll be hosting a special event on July 10th on Friday, which will be in the United Nations Plaza during this conference. So again, if you're interested in being at the HLPF, please join us. There's also a lot of online programming. So if you're not coming to New York again, you can also join the conferences online. There's a lot of Zoom webinars and events, and also live streaming taking place from the UN. Then in September, we have the UN General Assembly, and we are organizing a Global Leaders Forum during Climate Week NYC with special evening receptions taking place throughout the week. So if you are also planning to participate in Climate Week, there's lots of activities you can join online or from home. And in November, we have the United Nations Climate Change Conference coming up, COP31 in Turkey this year. So we are planning to put ocean on the agenda at COP every year and to make sure that we are bringing all of these topics from the other conferences into the climate change conversation and making sure that the ocean climate nexus is well represented. For the World Oceans Day, I've also listed here a little bit more information. Peaceboat US has been working very closely with the UN Division of Ocean Affairs and Law of the Sea, UN which is the organism within the UN that has been working on the BBNJ Treaty and also on the UN World Oceans Day. So if you're not familiar with UN please look it up. Division of Ocean Affairs and Law of the Sea. And we also have our Ocean Gala on board. So I was inviting all kinds of government partners and youth leaders, artists, and creators to be part of our Ocean Gala. We'll be opening like a kind of a call for artists, a call for sustainable designers for an ocean fashion show, and a call for musicians to come and support as well for the Ocean Gala. So if you have any talent that you would like to commit to the Ocean Gala, you can feel free to email us and let us know. Then for the HLPF, as I mentioned, this high-level political forum takes place in July. The full dates of the conference is July 6th through the 15th, and we'll be hosting our event on July 10th, Friday, at the United Nations Plaza, so you can join us there. And we hope that you'll be part of some of these global leaders forums that we're hosting in September. And we are really wanting to engage Climate Week and keep the momentum from the ocean community towards COP. So Climate Week is a great step in between. We have the UN World Oceans Day in June, HLPF in July, then Climate Week in September, moving on towards COP in November. So really trying to make the roadmap for activities for the ocean all throughout the year. Even this week, the BBNJ PrepCom is taking place at the United Nations headquarters, so there's a lot happening around BBNJ here currently. With that, I would also like to bring to the stage here in our Zoom one of our youth leaders. Her name is Jimena. She is working with us as an intern at Peaceboat US. She is also an avid scuba diver. She loves the ocean. She works a lot on ocean conservation and probably has a lot in common to share with all of you here. So let's see if we can get Jimena to join us on the stage. Let's see also, Amber, if maybe you can bring her up and we can ask her to unmute and join us. Jimena, will you want to let us know if you're able to join?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jimena. So I wanted to invite Jimena just to share a little bit about her work as an intern with Peaceboat US, maybe her passion for the ocean, how she found out about Peaceboat, and just to share a little bit more with all of you for about 5 minutes. And then we'll be opening up for some polls and maybe some Q&A at the end as well. So we have a little bit more time in this session. So Jimena, thank you for joining us. Do you want to share a little bit about your experience with Peaceboat so far?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. I don't know why I can't put my face, but well, I will start talking. My name is Jimena. I'm from Mexico, and I'm currently one of the 5 interns at Peaceboat US this semester. For me, this is an honor to be part of this organization and to share a little bit of what experience meant to me. Even though I come from an industrial engineering background, uh,
Oh, Jimena, great. I think you're just on mute. If you want to unmute real quick, we got your photo up now. Perfect. Thank you so much.
okay, sorry. Well, I continue. For me, this is an honor to be a part of this organization and to share a little bit about what this experience has meant to me. Even though I come from an industrial engineering background, I have always known that my path is the ocean. So I also believe it is important to have people from different disciplines involved because different backgrounds, different perspectives, and that is essential for understanding complex issues like the ocean conservation. And I first learned about Peaceboat while I was taking a course on ocean sustainability in Mexico through the International Ocean Institute and Ocean Academy Mexico. And during that course, Emily also was giving the presentation about Peaceboat, so just like the one we're having here today. And I still remember that after listening to her talk, I told myself that I want to be part of Peaceboat, so I applied. And one of the reasons why this experience means so much to me, that it helped me to understand that protecting the ocean is not only about the activism, it's about also of education, international cooperation, and building solutions. So Peace Boat for me reflects all that. This organization is deeply connected with some values and with the SDGs, but especially with 2 SDGs that are really important for me. That is the number 14, the life below the water, and the number 4, that is high quality education. Because without healthy oceans and without ocean education, there is no a simply future for all of us. And one of the most valuable things about being an intern with Peaceboat is that you do not only learn from the outside, but you also truly get involved in meaningful global issues. Even though I live in Mexico and Peaceboat offices are in New York, this has been an incredible experience so far. As interns, we also support communication and outreach efforts, including creating social media content and helping with interviews. That has allowed me to contribute more direct in a creative way, while also learning how important communication is inspiring awareness and action. I have had the opportunity to attend important meetings, including spaces with major society organization, where I learned what they are preparing for the World Oceans Day in different cities. That has helped me to understand how the global goal can take different forms depending on the local context of them. I also been able to learn more about the BBNG agreement and why it's so important, as the first treaty in the history focused on protecting the marine biodiversity areas beyond the national jurisdiction part of the ocean that for a long time had been exploited without enough protection. Learning about topics like this helped me to understand both the urgency of the ocean conservation and the importance of the international cooperation. Also, through the Peace Boat Partners, I have also the opportunity to participate in different activities, both virtually and in person. For example, during the Oceanic Global Film Festival, we watch very powerful films that help us raise awareness about the importance of the ocean and everything that is at stake if we fail to protect it. Another thing I have really value in Peace Boat is that her work goes beyond environmental issues alone. But through this experience, I have also started learning more about topics like disarmament and importance of peace book, about peace education that honestly I didn't know anything. And that has been very meaningful to me because it showed me how deeply connected peace and sustainability, education, and our shared future really are. And as an international NGO, Peaceboat has also allowed me to connect directly with partners in my own country here in Mexico. I think that matters a lot because talking about the ocean from a global perspective also means looking at our own region and recognizing the responsibility that we have. In that sense, this experience also connects to the Mar Day 2026. Uh, Last week, on March 10th, we marked the Mesoamerican Reef Day, a day that highlights the importance of the Mesoamerican Reef and to raise awareness around its protection. The Mesoamerican Reef is one of the largest systems in the Atlantic of the ocean, stretching more than 1,000 kilometers across Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras. Beyond coral reefs, it is also connected to mangroves and seagrass beds, which are essential to ecosystems of marine life. It is home of species such as sea turtles, whale sharks, bull sharks, manatees, and many fish species that are both ecologically and economically important. So that is also why last week I gave a presentation at my ex-university in collaboration with Peaceboat and Mar Day as a way to share here in Mexico a little bit more about Peaceboat and what this represents. And I think it's important to mention this because talking about the ocean through Peaceboat also means understanding that the ocean conservation is not something distant, it's not an abstract issue or something that only belongs to other countries. It is here and also in our regions, in our ecosystems along our coast, and with our own responsibility. And for me, being a Peaceboat intern represents exactly that, learning, connecting, and understanding that protecting the ocean is also a way of building our future, our shared future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimena. That was a wonderful presentation. And it's just an honor for us to also have young leaders like Jimena working with us. We also have Chica here online with us as an intern at Peaceboat US, living in Hawaii. So Jimena's in Mexico, Chica's in Hawaii, and you can intern from anywhere. So I will really encourage, in addition for the ECOPs, learning about our programs for the United Nations Ocean Decade, we also wanted to give some time to share about our internship program and to encourage young leaders to come on board and be part of any program that you can. Peaceboat is open to all youth. The 18 to 30 age range is for the Youth for SDG Scholarship Program, but anybody can come on board at any age. We actually have our youngest members in the Montessori Education Program, ages 2 to 7 years old. So we have a floating youth program on board for kids. We have Get Teachers on board. And actually, maybe I can even share with you all. I'll pull up the website and just take a break from the photos here. But I will put in the chat here for all of you to see and then share a little bit about Peaceboat's program for volunteers as well. So if you come to our website, I will now just share a little bit of live website viewing here. You can see the Peaceboat Ocean Decade programs. So all of our activities are listed here, and you can go into the dates here and see this is our upcoming program, which will be in Latin America, which I mentioned to all of you. This program deadline did just pass on March 15th. However, because you are joining this webinar with the ECOPs program, if you are interested in participating, please do email me or let us know. We would love to have more ECOPs on board, and we can always talk about different opportunities for you to join us. So these are some of the reports as well you can see from the past programs. If you click on Get Involved, you can go to Intern and Volunteer. So Jimena and Chica are part of our intern team. We also have the activities of the intern team listed, some of their blogs here as well, of different activities that they've done throughout the year. The application form is open all year round, so you can apply anytime. It doesn't have to be this year, it could be next summer, or any time that you'd like to be with Peace Boat during fall, winter as well. We have our internship program report here you can check out. And then we have some news and events and other projects on the Peace Boat that we're sharing as well. And then we have our Get program. So I'm just putting in here Peace Boat Get program so you all can see. If you want to find something on Peace Boat, just put in Peace Boat, Google it with the name or the title of what you're looking for. If you're looking for the Ocean Decade programs or volunteer opportunities, use the search engine as a way to find these activities on the Peace Boat as well. We have a Get program called Global English Espanol Training Program. I was also on the Get program when I joined Peace Boat. I was already in Japan and I was a Spanish teacher. So we have language programs and language teachers. You can be a volunteer on the ship and travel the world for free. And you can go around the world with our team known as the Get team. We also have the CCs, communication coordinators, who are traveling with us on board and translating and interpreting between different languages on the ship. You can see also our voyages when you click on the voyage section, upcoming voyages. You can see all of the schedules all the way through the end of 2027 and 2028. So this is just an example of where our voyages are going, and you can find out all the activities that we have during each voyage. You can see all of the countries, and if you open up the itinerary, it will show you the exact dates of where the ship will be. So if we're coming to your home country, also please let us know. Maybe you can take charge like Jimena did and organize a talk at the university or a beach cleanup or any kind of activity. And we're always visiting many different places around the world. So each voyage is different and has different dates. But I'm really excited to be with all of you here today, and we have a little bit of time for Q&A. So I wanted to pass the mic back over to Amber, and then maybe we can answer a few questions or have a bit of discussion in the next few minutes.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily and Jimena. That was an amazing presentation as an intern. I think that was great insight, and your passion is amazing. So thank you so much for that. So I'm going to open up just some basic poll questions for everyone to start with for the Q&A. So go ahead and answer those. And then once I have everyone responding to those, we'll move more into Q&A with Emily. And if you want to drop any questions in the chat, please feel free to be doing that as we go. And we also use these webinars as some networking opportunity for ECOP. So if you'd like to share your LinkedIn handle to connect with others, go ahead and pop that in the chat as well if you would like.
Thank you, Amber. And I'm also putting here the internship program link in the chat there. And we'll go ahead and put our programs for the Ocean Decade as well, so everybody can have a look at those while they're planning.
Have a good variety of people joining. Looks like 17% from North America. Wow, I thought most people would be in North America. It's actually rare that we have webinars in a US time zone, so that's surprising that there's not more. US to me, South America is 33%, Europe is 33%, and Africa, we have one person from Africa, so that's very exciting.
Yeah, we're excited to have members from all around the world, considering that we visit so many countries every year. It'll be great to have our network expand more across borders.
All right. And I'm also surprised that 2 people have traveled on a ship. That's pretty good. I didn't know if anybody would. I never have. That's exciting. So, oh, another person, 3 people. We're almost 50-50 on traveling for a ship.
That's
Wow.
great. And we'll have to get you on board too, Amber. And for anybody who's interested in learning more about ocean, seafaring, getting your maritime hours for ECOPs, I know that's also something I was mentioning to Amber previously, that it would be great to use our ship in so many ways. So think about not only as a volunteer or as an ECOP youth professional, but maybe other ways that you can also join us on board the ship or hosting your own workshops or programs in the future. Lots of ideas to organize on board.
Great. Okay, so I will go ahead and end this poll, and then if anybody has any questions, please feel free to either pop them in the chat or raise your hand.
And just while we're looking, I did see one or two questions. I'll just read here from the chat, Amber, while anybody's thinking if they have additional questions.
Okay.
I saw that there was one asking about the solar-based eco-ships, if they're to be introduced in day-to-day marine practices. And yes, the idea is that they would be introduced day-to-day as maritime transport in the future. Our ship, of course, does have a very specific itinerary going around the world. So it's, traveling 3 months at a time. And just to share as well, people pay to go on the ship, and these voyages create a self-sustainable practice for our organization. So Peace Boat's funding comes from the voyages running around the world. So if we were able to have a solar-based ship, we are sure that it would be even more interesting for people to travel, and we hope that that will inspire local maritime transport to become more sustainable as well. So day-to-day use from ferries and transport across rivers, oceans. We hope that the technology will spread wide and far to create a more positive impact for the ocean. If there's any other questions, feel free to raise your hand or add any in the chat. I think it would be great.
While we're waiting for any more questions, I did want to ask, I just briefly looked at the website and I thought it said that there was like, you can apply to be an intern or a volunteer, or is there a difference between those?
Yes, that's a good question. So we do have both. So I'll just pull up our website here so you all can see. When you click on the Get Involved section, yeah, it says intern or volunteer. And here you can see our internship program. This is where the application is for the internship program here. To volunteer on board, you would have to go the full 3 months. So that's the Global English Espanol Training Program, GET. So you could be an English teacher or a Spanish teacher. The difference is that for the volunteer position, you have to go the full voyage, which is exciting. So you have to start in Japan, which is where our headquarters is based in Tokyo. You'll go through the internship training or volunteer training there, and then you would go on board to travel full 3 month voyage and teaching every day as a volunteer. For the internship program, you can work from home. It can be a remote internship or hybrid. You can go to the United Nations and participate in activities or also join online. And then you can also intern in our New York office. And that's kind of another option. So it could be like full-time in the office, part-time hybrid, or work from home. And volunteering takes place those 3 months on the voyage. I just saw also, sorry, a question in the chat from Sandrine asking if there's an age limit for a volunteer. And there is no age limit for a volunteer, and there's no age limit for an intern. So we've had interns of all ages. I think our youngest intern was 14 once in high school. We also work with nonprofits like Global Kids who work with high school students and do citizen science and education and capacity building. And we've had, other interns and volunteers who have been graduates from university or even retirees who want to volunteer with us in the office. So it just depends a little bit on the circumstance, but you can always apply through the website. And I was like, maybe I can ask also, he made a one more question too. How do you recommend young people to get involved with Peace Boat? What are some of the things that you've been working on, or what are some of the ideas that you've been putting out, let's say on the social media, things that other youth can get involved in?
Well, we're preparing the next social media. We also had the opportunity to interview some of the girls of that work in disarmament issues. So I think that is very special because maybe for a lot of people it's not normal or a thing that usually you listen to that kind of topic. So also you can get involved to know a little bit more about different issues that you're not um, used to listen in your conversations, and learn more about peace and all that topics uh, related to about what we're living on today. Um, Also, um, to to for you to join the SDGs program. I think it's a great opportunity. It's a special voyage that will help a lot to help you professionally, and you will also know different people from different countries, from different perspectives, that will help you also to learn a lot and to open your mind in different issues.
Thank you, Jimena. Yeah, it's great. And what Jimena was mentioning also about disarmament, as I mentioned that we have the Nobel Peace Prize on board. Since last year, we're also carrying the Nobel Peace Prize exhibition at sea. So using our ship in so many educational ways, we've created this exhibit really to celebrate the survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and also the Nobel Peace Prize winners, which was Nihon Hidankyo last year, which are survivors from Japan who suffered during the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to share their testimonies. So this exhibition is called The Message to Humanity, and it was originally displayed at the Nobel Peace Center in Oslo, Norway, and now it's being carried on board the ship. So it will be on board for at least 3 years as a traveling exhibition on the boat. And we hope to add to the exhibit. So each year, the Nobel Peace Prize winner can be featured, or we can hire more space on the ship to have more exhibits and kind of share more about the work of those who are winning the Nobel Peace Prize and using the ship in that way as a vessel for exhibitions. So we can do lots of exciting things on board, and our work for disarmament is definitely one topic that connects everyone across the ocean, especially with nuclear testing in places like Marshall Islands, Bikini Atoll, thinking about French Polynesia, Tahiti, so many places that have been affected by nuclear weapons. And so disarmament is not only for the humanitarian impact on people, but also for the ocean and for all the ecosystems that, survive on those amazing places around the world that have been affected. So it's so important that we learn about these issues and don't disconnect disarmament from sustainable development, because they're really part of the same message. So thank you also, Jimena, for highlighting that. Well, I think we just have a few minutes left, so maybe Amber, I will pack it, if you want to wrap up from your side or add anything, I'll pass it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I also wanted to ask, and I'm sorry if I missed this, but talking about the BBNJ, I know you talked about some different programs that the UN is involved with that. Do you have like recommendation for people that are really interested in getting involved with some of that, or any volunteer opportunities, or any specific programs that I could pass along to people that want to be involved in that kind of planning?
Absolutely, yes. And I would really recommend everyone to also visit the World Oceans Day website. So I'll share with you really quickly as well here, and also put a link in the chat so you guys can see a bit more. Peace Boat was helping to coordinate the working group for the Friends of World Oceans Day. So that's something that you can help us with. We have everyone joining Friends of World Oceans Day from around the world. So any of you can join. You can just click here, join Friends of World Oceans Day, FOWOD for the acronym. You can see here that previously I was coordinating this working group, but in general, it's open to everyone and anyone who wants to join and be part of World Oceans Day activities. You can see lots of members here of different organizations that are working together. So it's a large connection to many different networks of organizing partners. And this is also a toolkit. So, like I was saying, if you're not able to come to New York City for the World Oceans Day, you can also add your own event on this calendar, and you can submit your event here. So if you want to organize a beach cleanup or even a talk, or anything, in your home community, you can add the dates here, and it will show up on the UN World Oceans Day website. They're going to be updating this with the 2026 logo very soon, and we'll be also sharing that with everyone who participates. So if you'd like to be part of the Friends of World Oceans Day, I'm going to put this in the chat. Also for the UN HLPF, we've kind of been looking at a lot of different issues around the HLPF this past year, but it's also something where you can join from home and also join um, in your home community doing activities or participating. There's also observers, so you can see more about that here. So I will put both of these links. I think this will be the most important to join for June and July and to start getting more involved with the UN programs. So I'll put these links here and encourage all of you to reach out, especially for the World Oceans Day. Here's the HLPF, and then I'll put here the events for World Oceans Day as well. But yes, I think anyone who's interested in getting more involved in UN activities, um, don't wait to do it. I think the more you get involved, the sooner the better. So if you're an early career ocean professional and you're starting to learn about these topics, it's a great time to learn. So just go ahead, start looking at the websites I've provided in the chat, start reaching out to people if you'd like to organize events, and start participating because that's really what it's all about is learning through experience. I think ECOPS provides a really great opportunity for young professionals working in the ocean space to learn from each other as well. The capacity building and exchanging ideas is really important. So I really do hope that these webinars can be useful and that the ECOPS network will help strengthen each other. So also building that community while working together for UN initiatives.
Thank you so much, Emily. Yeah, I love the links and thank you for going back over that. And I think that calendar is really helpful for us too, because it can be a bit overwhelming to try to find events and looking at all these different websites with different calendars. So that's a really cool tool. So thank you so much for that. Um, and yeah, so like Emily said, these webinars, it's all to just help people get involved, especially the younger early career professionals where it can just feel overwhelming or you don't know where to start. For reference, I just started volunteering for this in August, so it hasn't even been a year yet, and it has been so impactful on my life. And I feel like I'm involved in so many new things. And it's just great to be around like-minded people that share the same goals, especially at Ocean Decade. You know, we're all working together for the future and ocean regeneration, which is really nice. There's so many different projects going on within the UN Ocean Decade, and it goes so far beyond that with so many great organizations around the world as well. So please, anybody who wants to get more involved, reach out to Emily, especially for the Peace Boat, and for me too, if you want to be more involved with any ECOP stuff. And we are on all the main social media pages. So there is a UN Ocean Decade ECOP page, and then we have individual nodes for individual countries as well. So if you'd like to check out ECOP node for your individual country, you can definitely search that on social media, especially LinkedIn, and you can probably find it. Or if you need help finding it, you can definitely reach out to me as well. But yeah, I think that's all I have. And I think that was a really great session with a lot of really good information. This is an amazing program that I can't believe I hadn't heard of, and I'm really excited. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be talking to you more about this, Emily. So, I hope that other people do too, and they feel a bit inspired to get involved with this because, yeah, really amazing opportunities for us. So, thank you both so much. And yeah, we will be posting the recording of this session on our ECOP YouTube channel probably by maybe sometime next week if anyone wants to rewatch that. So yeah, we will see you in the next webinar. And thank you so much for our amazing panelists and all of that great info.
Thank you so much, Amber. Thanks to the early career ocean professionals for joining, and thank you to Humana for joining us as well as a guest speaker. And we look forward to seeing you all on board soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.